After months of uncertainty, Britain and the European Union have finally struck an agreement on a post-Brexit trade deal. The two sides managed to patch up their differences at the 11th hour to avert an encroaching crisis as the end of the 12-month transition period approached. Speaking in Brussels, European Commission Chief Ursula von der Leyen heralded the two sides' last-minute compromise. Let's listen to some of what she had to say.
And ladies and gentlemen, at the end of a successful negotiations journey, I normally feel joy. But today, I only feel quite satisfaction and, frankly speaking, relief. I know this is a difficult day for some, and to our friends in the United Kingdom, I want to say, parting is such sweet sorrow. But to use a line from T.S. Eliot, what we call the beginning is often the end, and to make an end is to make a beginning. So to all Europeans, I say, it is time to leave Brexit behind. Our future is made in Europe. Thank you so much.
UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson has also hailed the agreement as fantastic news. He played up the strong relationship between the UK and the European Union and promised that would continue.
And so I say again, directly to our EU friends and partners, I think this deal means a new stability and a new certainty in what has sometimes been a fractious and difficult relationship. We will be your friend, your ally, your supporter, and indeed, never let it be forgotten, your #1 market. Because although we have left the EU, this country will remain culturally, emotionally, historically, strategically, geologically attached to Europe. Not least, of course, through the 4 million EU nationals who have requested to settle in the UK over the last 4 years and who make an enormous contribution to our country and to our lives.
Let's bring in DW's Charlotte Chelson-Pill standing by for us in London and Alexandra von Namen with us from Brussels. Alexandra, I'll start with you first. What's your take on this historic deal?
Well, I think that it was, for both sides, a huge success to be able to seal this deal, to get legal platform upon which they can rebuild their trade relations. For the European Union, it was crucial to make sure that the UK only gets access to the single market when they promise to respect the EU's rules and standards. And according to Ursula von der Leyen, the EU's Commission's President, it's the case. That is what they have agreed upon in the deal. And of course, for the European Union, it was also important to have a mechanism to make sure that they can retaliate if the UK would try to undercut the EU's rules and regulations. And apparently, that is also something that both sides were able to agree upon.
Charlotte, is this the deal that Boris Johnson wanted, or has he had to make concessions, do you think?
Well, Boris Johnson will be working hard. We heard it just there in the press conference he gave to sell this to the public as a major victory. This is indeed why he was elected into office, under the promise that he would get Brexit done, and that is exactly what he has done. That's despite many calls over the last couple of days for the transition period to be extended. Some on the UK side saying there was simply too much going on in the UK at the moment, which is dealing with this new strain of the coronavirus and all of the implications that's involved there, not to mention the implications for the economy. So Boris Johnson really trying to sell this as a major victory for the UK. He didn't really go into many details in terms of compromises that he's made. But he did say that compromise is not a dirty word. So it's clear that compromises have been made on the UK side, as you would expect in a negotiation like this. One thing that he did was keen to stress was the deal that has been reached on fish. Now, fish make up a very small part of the UK economy here, but in terms of the emotions they evoke among many in the UK public, the idea that the UK, as part of Brexit, is taking back control of its waters, it is very important. And he stressed that the EU had given some ground on fish quota, the amount that EU boats can fish in UK waters. So he was keen to stress some of the wins, but he did strike, I think, quite a mild-mannered tone, I would say. He wasn't gloating about any victories that have been made, which I'm sure a lot of the newspaper front pages will do tomorrow. Instead, he stressed that this is a good friendship with the EU going forward.
Well, Alexandra, the EU certainly appeared very happy with the deal, but it has taken a really long time. In fact, we were notified last night already that a deal was probably in the making. It's taken another 24 hours. What's been the hold-up and how difficult has it been for these two sides to come together?
Well, we're looking back at the very tough negotiations. And of course, Charlotte already mentioned it. It was all about fish in the end, the fisheries and how much access the European Union would get to UK waters. Not a very important issue in terms of trade relations and economic relations, but still a very emotional and symbolic issue for both sides. Here, member states are like France and Belgium, and of course for the UK fishermen. And actually in this context, it's quite interesting to look at the first reactions from, for example, the French president, who said on Twitter that it paid off to be united and that this deal is essential to protect our citizens, fishermen, and our producers. So he seems to be quite happy with what was achieved. However, we are also hearing some cautious reactions from Austria's Chancellor Kurz, for example, who is saying that now all the EU members need to carefully study the legal text of the deal to decide after scrutinizing it.
Charlotte, will this deal be hard for Boris Johnson to sell to the British people?
Most people today will just be feeling a good deal of relief that a deal has been done. I mean, the UK leaves the transition period days, and the transition period ends in just days now, and a lot of people have been greatly concerned about the implications of not had a deal and everything that would mean for the economy. And we just got a taste of some of the chaos at the borders that could have at the border at Dover that could have arisen had there been a no-deal Brexit. So relief among many that a deal has been done. Indeed, the leader of the opposition Labour Party here in the UK has stressed for some time that their priority is seeing a deal done. It is expected Labour will back the deal in Parliament. This is expected to go through Parliament, albeit, though, with, of course, as you would expect, people scrutinising very closely the details of this text. Those in Parliament voting on this particular Brexiteers, they all want to see that the promises that were made have been met. As for the public, well, they're likely to go through these 2,000 pages of legal text that are part of this deal. Instead, their opinion is likely to be shaped by the messaging from Boris Johnson, not just today, but going forward as well.
Now, Alexandra, just briefly before we go, obviously this deal needs to be ratified by the EU Parliament. They've said there's not enough time now before that end-of-year deadline. What happens next?
Well, next, what is important next that the EU ambassadors will come together tomorrow here in Brussels to analyse the text, and then each member state, all 27 of them, need to approve the deal. Then the European Parliament will be able to vote on the text in January, and the EU Commission until then has the possibility to provisionally implement the deal, so that we are not going to see the UK crashing out of the European Union without a deal.
Good news there. Alexandra von Naumann speaking to us from Brussels. Charlotte Chelson-Pill in London. Thank you to you both.